Good morning.
Good morning.
Please stand for the presentation of colors and the singing of our national anthem. Will the ushers please allow those in the halls to enter? This is a special occasion, so I ask that students not exit until the conclusion of the program. Please be seated. As we begin this, our 31st annual Opening Convocation, I ask that we quiet our hearts and minds as Ms. Janessa Dennis, class of 2022, delivers the invocation.
Let us pray. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, God who has brought us thus far on the way. Gracious and loving God, we take this time to acknowledge your presence in our lives, on this campus, and in our country. We know that this is the eve of September 11th, the day that was full of destruction and demise. We know that this country is in your hands, and we thank you for keeping us from dangers seen and unseen. Lord, some of us brought in this semester with the weight of the world on our shoulders, personal struggles, anxiety, and fear, but we petition you to lift these burdens today. Help us ease into the semester with grace and confidence in you. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Help us to remember the place you hold in our lives. Help us not to forget that you have been our guiding force throughout the legacy of these institutions. We ask a special blessing over our new president, and we pray for strength and wisdom in his reign. Thank you for hearing us. In all these things that we pray, amen.
In 1900, James Weldon Johnson penned an unapologetically transformative poem, Lift Every Voice and Sing. His brother, John Rosamond Johnson, put the poem to music in 1905. The song resonated in the Black community and was dubbed by the NAACP as the National Negro Anthem for its power in voicing a cry for liberation and affirmation of African Americans. I doubt that James Weldon or his brother John Rosamond, both graduates of Atlanta University, ever imagined that their masterpiece would resonate with such power 119 years later. The anthem survives because it speaks to the reason for a people to be grateful for the changes our nation has made, while at the same time being mindful that the struggle continues. Are there any additional persons that need to be admitted to the audience at this time? Ushers? Then please stand and join the Clark Atlanta University Choir in singing the Negro National Anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Every voice
choir under the directorship of Dr. Curtis Powell is second to none. Let's give them another round of applause. "30 years ago, the leaders of Atlanta University and Clark College understood that to create a greater future-forward institution, they needed to consolidate their resources and operations and chart a bold new future. To those students, administrators, faculty, and staff members who are new to Clark Atlanta University, please know that you walk on hallowed grounds. You stand on the shoulders of greatness. You work at a university with a rich history because ordinary people stepped up to achieve the extraordinary by leaving us with one exceptional university. I'm proud to welcome to the podium at this time our student government leaders who will bring welcomes. Undergraduate SGA President, Mr. Levon Campbell Jr., class of 2021, and graduate SGA President, Mr. Frank Ortega, class of 2020. Following their welcome, we will be greeted by Mr. Devin White, a member of the CAU classes of 1995 and 2000, and president of the Clark Atlanta University National Alumni Association.
Say good morning, good morning. First, I would like to take a moment of silence for those who have lost their lives due to suicide. Thank you. Today is National Suicide Awareness Day, and your 31st Student Government Association is working so we can bring mental health awareness here to our campus. Although we cannot do this without the foundation that was laid 31 years before us. Greetings, I am Levon Campbell Jr., a junior political science major, English minor, coming all the way from Los Angeles, California. We stand here today honoring the 31 years of greatness that our institution has bestowed upon us. Although we celebrate all of the spirit of greatness that CAU has to offer, we cannot forget about the foundations and the history of our two parent institutions. See, CAU stands on the backbone of two dynamic institutions: Atlanta University, 1865, Clark College, 1869, which many do not know was originally called Clark University and was later named Clark College on March 12, 1940. We walk the sacred grounds that are rich with the history and legacies of our ancestors from our parent institutions. Atlanta University was the oldest graduate school serving people of color with higher level education when this country turned their backs on us. We are home to the largest supplies of African American art when in dark times no one would accept art from our people. It was our divine Atlanta University that took in the works of our people and displayed them. We walk the same grounds as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once did. We sit in the same classrooms that W.E.B. Du Bois wrote the souls of black folks. We sing proudly the Negro National Anthem that our alum, James Weldon Johnson, had wrote. We seek the change that students from the Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and the Atlanta student movements fought so strongly for. We have always been a higher level of learning from our great institutions. So what does this mean? This means, from our roots and until today, we recognize the fact that we are living in one exceptional university. So take this time to learn and soak in all the greatness from our graduate students and students who are getting their PhDs. Take this time to truly network and elevate your life to the next level by embracing the concept, I go to the best university, and I go to one exceptional university. We are home to some of the strongest social work programs and business programs in this nation, and more recently, we are increasing the number of rankings on a national level. Now, before I end, I'd like to acknowledge greatness. Those who are running for any CAU office, please stand up and be acknowledged at this time. Thank you. You are never too young to change the world. Let's remember to uplift one another as we continue to embark on this great journey at our illustrious institution. Thank you.
Good morning. Marva Collins, Clark College alum, once quoted, "Education is painful and is not gained by playing games. CAU Panthers, the games are over and we have already won." In the words of DJ Khaled, please help me out, all we do is win, 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 no matter what. My name is Frank Ortega, and I humbly serve as the 31st Student Government Association Graduate President of the illustrious Clark Atlanta University. I have the distinct honor and privilege of welcoming you to the 2019 Fall Convocation. Clark Atlanta is proud that we offer the world advanced degree and non-degree certificate programs through our 4 schools: Arts and Sciences, Business Administration, Education, and Social Work. These schools focus on leadership development, professional ethics, and the highest caliber of instruction and research excellence. The unique consolidation of Clark College and Atlanta University is the reason why we are here, able to gather right now on this very hallowed ground to be part of the continuation of Panther excellence while standing on the shoulders of giants. As graduate president, I cannot sit down without acknowledging graduate studies at Clark Atlanta University, which dates back to the 1865 beginnings of one of its founding institutions, Atlanta University. Atlanta University, founded in 1865 by American Missionary Association with subsequent assistance from the Freedmen's Bureau, was, before consolidation, the nation's oldest graduate institution serving a predominantly African-American student body. This 150-year legacy continues as CAU prepares graduate and undergraduate students for distinguished careers in research, teaching, and as experts in public and private sectors. With this in mind, I welcome alumni, guests, administration, faculty, staff, and students to what is recognized as most would say, one exceptional university, Clark Atlanta University. Thank you.
Good morning. President French, Provost Bowles, members of the Board of Trustees, students, faculty, staff, alumni, and friends of this great university. It is my pleasure to greet you this morning on behalf of the Clark Atlanta University's 33,000 plus alumni. We are invigorated on this day by the work of faculty to renew the curriculum for the 21st century, and we reaffirm our goals of strengthening our leadership and accelerating our growth. We will renew our efforts to support, advocate, and recruit for the institution that is the foundation of our success. We are keenly aware that every day, as we move about in our careers and communities, in private and public sectors, we are representing the institution that molded us into well-rounded, service-oriented, global-thinking individuals and prepared us as a top-notch professionals ready to compete with the best the world has to offer. And to students, as we celebrate the university's glorious past, we commit to fortifying its future by supporting you with our time, talent, and treasure. With our time, talent, and treasure. And I must make an announcement here is that I'm happy to announce that just on last week, the Clark Atlanta University Alumni Association transferred $50,000 to assist in student gap scholarships here at Clark Atlanta University. And also, I'll make another announcement that will be an additional $25,000 coming from the Clark Atlanta University Alumni Association as well. You see, we are linked forever by the love and pride we have for the Panther Nation. Count on us as mentors, networking agents, sounding boards, influencers, and rainmakers to help you light up the world with your brilliance. Now, will all Atlanta University, Clark College, Clark University, and Clark Atlanta University alumni please stand and be recognized? And by standing, we recommit to supporting our dear alma mater. Thank you. You may be seated. And on this morning, once again, I'm proud to say, welcome to our first convocation. Welcome to our new president. We're looking forward to your leadership, and God bless.
I would like now to acknowledge our students who evidence the rich intellect, talent, and creativity of our student population. Please stand as I call you by groups, and do not applause until all of the names have been named. Will members of the freshman class of 2023 please stand? Will members of the sophomore class of 2022 please stand? Will members of the junior class of 2021 please stand? Will members of the senior class of 2020 please stand? Will student government representatives please stand? Will all of our students running for SGA offices please stand? Ms. Clark, Atlanta University, 2019-20, Aretha Bernard and her royal court. Mr. Clark, Atlanta University, 2019-20, Tajadan Carter, please stand. Will our student athletes please stand? Will members of the Isabella T. Jenkins Honors Program please stand? Will the Booker T. Washington Scholars please stand? Will Dean's List students please stand? Will the graduate honor students please stand? Will all members of the Clark Atlanta University sororities, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, Zeta Phi Beta, Sigma Gamma Rho please stand? Will all members of the CAU fraternities, Alpha Phi Alpha, Kappa Alpha Psi, Omega Psi Phi, Phi Beta Sigma, and Iota Phi Theta please stand? These people, young people, represent our future. Let's give them another round of applause. We now ask the Clark Atlanta University Choir, directed by Dr. Curtis Powell, to provide a selection to be followed by Trustee Leonard Walker, who will present the occasion and introduce the speaker. Following the speaker, the choir will perform Go Forward.
Shalom. Renowned African-American judge and activist William Hastie once said, "A nation's beginning is a proper source of reflective pride only to the extent that the subsequent and continuing process of its becoming deserves celebration." The same could be said of an institution or even an academic year. Opening Convocation formally marks the beginning of the academic year at CAU. It's a beginning we can be proud of, thanks to a becoming that deserves celebration. 150 years ago, with our parent institutions, Atlanta University, founded, as you've heard, in 1865, and Clark University, later which became Clark College in 1869. This occasion is also the setting stone. The first idea, the initial tone that all other ideas and tones will be set in reference to. And since I get to set it, I'm gonna set two. The first stone, gratitude. Thank you to our distinguished and devoted faculty. You are teachers, mentors, advisors, counselors, surrogate parents, researchers, writers, lecturers, presenters, fundraisers, and university ambassadors. Thank you for answering a calling that is perhaps the greatest of all. Thank you to our staff. Clark Atlanta University could not realize its aspirations without you. Your institutional knowledge guides us. Your efficiency is essential to keeping classrooms and offices running, grounds manicured, and facilities operational. Without you, things would surely unravel. Thank you for being the hands and the hearts that weave this tapestry. Thank you to our friends and especially our alumni. Your embrace of our mission and vision makes us stronger, and your interest and engagement, along with your investment in this university, demonstrates to the others that we are worthy of theirs. The second setting stone I'm setting today: confidence. In you, our students. I'm proud of you for starting this journey. Few things are more important than completing it, and I am confident that you will. And in so doing, you will change the trajectory of your own lives and fulfill the dreams of your ancestors. Our hope for the future rests in our confidence in you. This day, live forward, bravely, boldly, and with the security that we are with you and for you. This day, know your value and commit to never losing sight of it. This day, allow that knowledge to embolden, encourage, and empower you to go further and reach higher. Today brings another beginning as we welcome our new leader of the university, Dr. George T. French, Jr. Served for 13 years as the president of Miles College. During his tenure, Miles College exceeded capital campaign goals, besting previous fundraising records, achieved an unprecedented financial composite score to position the school for growth, increase student access to educational funding, and more than double the size of the existing campus with key land acquisitions. Prior to serving as the president of Miles College, Dr. French served in the roles of acting and interim president for the institution between October and December of 2005. Before serving as interim president, Dr. French served as a member of the president's cabinet in the capacity of director of institutional planning and development, and as such directed the offices of alumni affairs, federal contracts and grants, Title III, institutional research and effectiveness, congressional relations, and public relations. A native of Louisville, Kentucky, Dr. French earned a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science with an emphasis in policy analysis from the University of Louisville. He was competitively accepted into the University of Richmond Law School and completed 2 years of studies before being recruited by Miles College to serve as their Director of Development. He completed his final year of law school at Miles Law School in Fairfield, Alabama, earning a Juris Doctorate. Dr. French received his PhD in higher education from Jackson State University. Dr. French's influence in the academic community is mirrored by his work in several professional, trade, and civic groups. He served 2 terms respectively in the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges Board of Trustees and the National Advisory Committee on Institutional Quality and Integrity. He's been a member of the Birmingham Business Alliance's Executive Committee and the Birmingham Museum of Art's Board of Directors. In 2015, Dr. French co-founded Higher Education Leader Foundation to help prepare highly skilled talent for positions of leadership at HBCUs. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your speaker for today and Clark Atlanta University's new president, Dr. George T. French, Jr.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you, Trustee Walker, for that warm introduction. To Mr. Devin White, the National Alumni President, to Dr. Dorcas Davis Bowles, Interim Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs, to Ms. Janisa Dennis, class of 2022, sophomore, to Mr. Levon Campbell, class of 2021, undergraduate Student Government Association President, to Mr. Frank Ortega, class of 2020, graduate Student Government Association President. To the Reverend Dr. Tanya Lawrence Miles, CAU chaplain, to the 2020 graduating class of Clark Atlanta University, to Miss CAU, Miss Aretha Bernard, and to the members of her royal court, to Mr. CAU, Mr. Tay Jordan Carter, to our dedicated faculty and staff, to include faculty representative Dr. Kurt Young, to the members of the executive cabinet, to all of our alumni representing Clark Atlanta University, Clark College, and Atlanta University, to our distinguished guests here present, friends and associates, to include my daughter, Jasmine Monet French, a senior at Spelman College. I have here also with me my sister, Dr. Stacy French Lee, professor, Georgia State University. And I introduce to the Clark Atlanta University family my fiance, Dr. Basheen Welch. To colleagues that have joined me from Miles College, senior leaders at Miles College, to include Mr. Charles Gibbs and Ms. Verlanda Tate. Again, good morning and welcome to each and every one of you. I am indeed humbled as I stand before you today as Clark Atlanta University's 5th president. I say thank you for this opportunity of leadership. I feel blessed that together, I feel blessed that together, we are embarking on a new horizon for Clark Atlanta University. Indeed, this is the dawning of a new day in each of our lives individually, and the dawning of a new day in the life of Clark Atlanta University as collective constituents. These are my constituents, the very best faculty to be found anywhere, not within the HBCU community, but to be found anywhere within higher education. I say thank you to my faculty. The dawning of a new day embraces 5 strategic pillars: excellence, engagement, discovery, creativity, and service. Technically, the essence of these pillars are not new to CAU. As a premier university, these pillars have always been behind the educational strength of Clark Atlanta University, and they will be the channels which we use to achieve and approach this new horizon. Number 1, excellence. Excellence, again, has always been part of the CAU landscape and horizon. It is an horizon that was born more than 150 years ago with the birth of CAU's parent institutions, Atlanta University, founded in 1865, and Clark University, later named Clark College, founded in 1869. And it evolved 31 years ago with the consolidation of our parent institutions to become Clark Atlanta University. Interestingly enough, let me say parenthetically that she evolved 31 years ago. And one of my mentors in life for the 23 years that I served Miles College has been Thomas Coles. Cole. Oh, y'all can do better than that. Those parent founders were innovative in their thinking, and they used fortitude, creativity, and no doubt much prayer as they subscribed to a new horizon that provided a liberal arts and graduate education for those newly freed, those who craved for better lives, and who realized that education was the key for them to realize their dreams. More than 150 years ago, the founders of our parent institutions provided the needed access and affordability to those who were hungry, to those who were thirsting for education as a means to the end. Much like this student whose eyes I'm looking in right now, this young brother has a thirst for education. I can see it, and I sense greatness in his life. We see excellence in the many students who walked the halls and graduated from this premier university. This institution created trailblazers, as has been said, like James Weldon Johnson, like Marva Collins, like Ralph David Abernathy, well-known civil rights activist who worked side by side with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and yes, Ambassador Andrew Young. Thank you, Mrs. Young. Also, such as Kenya Barris, whose gifts were sharpened and honed in the classrooms and labs of CAU's Mass Media Arts Department. Come on, give them a hand. And he took those gifts to create such popular television shows and films such as The Game and Blackish and Girls Trip. These are just a few examples of the awesome alumni who sought a new horizon while matriculating at this premier university. And yes, go ahead and get used to how I look and how I act when I say premier university, because CAU is all of that and a bag of chips. She is a premier university. Let us not forget the works of scholar, historian, sociologist, and economist W.E.B. Du Bois, known as the founding father of the modern fight for black equality. While a faculty member on this campus, he wrote one of the most prolific works of all times, The Souls of Black Folks. These are just a few examples of excellence and why HBCUs like Clark Atlanta University are needed more today than ever in our history. I tell you what I'm going to do. I have a poignant message here, but unfortunately it's about 15 more pages. I'm just not feeling that right now. So let me just ask all of the existing current students of Clark Atlanta University to stand with me, because I have a simple message for you. Listen closely. Listen closely. The die has been cast. I've stepped over the line. The decision has been made. The destiny's been determined. I will no longer vacillate. I will no longer vacate. I will no longer listen to, listen at, or listen in on losing. I will not be defeated, dejected, diluted, or detoured. I will no longer navigate with a needle of negativity. The direction's been decided, the trail to be tried, the destiny directed, the future forged. I will not be pulled on, pulled in, pulled down, or pulled out. I won't back up, back down, back away, or back off. I won't give in, give out, or even give way to defeat. I will no longer meander in the maze of mediocrity. I will no longer conform to the cancer of can't. I now will confirm the condition of can. I will probe the possibilities, pick the probabilities. I will focus on the fire and heat it even hotter. I will never give up, let up, set up, or shut up on success. I'm reaching for the ring, pulling on the power. I've quit wishing, quit hoping, wasting, and whining. I will now aggressively give in and gear in to the word go. I am determined to dare to do until I drop. I will withstand the whining winds of defeat. I will be powerfully persistent, consistent, and insistent to get out of life what I truly deserve. Because I am willing, I am ready, and I am worthy. And I understand that only defeat is from within. I now know, beyond any shadow of a cloud of doubt, there is no shadow, there is no cloud, and there is no doubt we will win. God bless you, Clark Atlanta University.
in my words, and if I let the words from my mouth be acceptable in your sight, please order my steps in your word. Please order my steps in your word. Oh, I want to walk worthy in your way, God. Please, oh, yeah. What is ever changing? What is ever changing? Order my the world is ever changing, yeah. But if you order my please, my. Please order in your
Again, we can't beat our choir, and thank you to soloists. Thank you so much. President French, thank you for giving us your vision of CAU's future, and particularly your message to Clark Atlanta University students. We look forward to your leadership. You have become a part of a community that includes 33,000 plus alumni scattered throughout the United States and several countries around the world. You are also now part of a community that includes administrators, professors, staff, graduate and undergraduate students, all of whom you will have the opportunity to work in close collaboration with. We fully appreciate that our success, like that of all quality institutions of higher learning, will ultimately be measured by the success of our students. Our reputation will continue to be built upon their achievements in the classroom, in the world of work and professions, in their service to community, and in the fulfillment of their dreams and aspirations. I can't imagine a vision more worthy of our passionate commitment, or an environment more appealing To future students whose presence will be valued and whose successes will be celebrated. Dr. French, we welcome you to the Clark Atlanta University community as the 5th president, so that together we can achieve the next chapter of this exceptional university. Let us now rise for the singing of the alma mater. Let me remind you that immediately following the morning's program, there will be a reception with President French in the Henderson Student Center. Faculty, staff, and students will proceed from here to the Bishop Cornelius Henderson Student Center, the Juanita B. Barranco Multi-Purpose Room. The reception is from 1 to 3 p.m. The walk will be led by our 5th President, Dr. George J.T. French, Jr. At this time, the Reverend Dr. Tanya Lawrence Miles, our university chaplain, will deliver the benediction.
Brothers and sisters, do you feel what I feel? Do you feel the excitement? Do you feel the energy? Do you feel a sense of newness in this place? If you do, won't you join me in giving God a hand clap of praise as we get ready to move forward from this place? Amen. The struggle definitely continues, and we must not give up hope. Our steps have been ordered. The fire is hot. We should all be ready to win. If you are ready to go forward from this place together, receive this benediction. Look towards this new horizon. Rise above the fray. Shosholoza, go forward boldly with peace, love, and hope. Let us go forward together. Let us go forward striving and committed to win. Go in peace. Amen. Amen.
Please allow members of the dais to leave before you start leaving the auditorium. Thank you.
There is no place like seeing
Hey, what's up, guys?
I'm on my way.